We're expected to learn more in the coming months about the assassination of former President John Kennedy. President Biden considering the National Archives ordering them to release once classified information from about 8,000 documents related to the assassination.
Newsmax correspondent John Glasgow is following this story. Good afternoon, John.
Hey, good afternoon to you as well. The information in these documents could end a lot of conspiracy theories about John FK's assassination, but don't expect any bombshells that would change the history of JFK's death. What would likely come from these new documents is more knowledge of what government agencies knew about the shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald, and when they knew that information. The White House has already released some of the once classified documents. Among the findings, a previously unknown relationship between the CIA and the then president of Mexico. The two sides set up a telephone tap center, an operation that intercepted Oswald's call to Mexico City to Soviet embassy a month before JFK's assassination. Now, Oswald wanted a Cuban transit visa, a way to return to the Soviet Union. UVA political scientist Larry Sabato. He has studied these files for years. He questions why the government withheld this information for nearly 6 decades.
But did we have to wait until the third decade of the 21st century to learn this? And there are thousands of files and documents that have still not been released. Are we ever going to see them? Sometimes I think they're waiting until all of us who actually lived through these events are dead. And then maybe the picture will become more precise.
So he also says that withholding this type of information leads to conspiracy theories as well. Under the JFK records law, only the sitting president has the power to withhold assassination-related documents. President Biden suggested last year any information that would do identifiable harm to the country would be kept secret. The deadline for the remaining declassified documents will come sometime in March. It'll be interesting to see if there will be anything new that comes around the assassination or the history of the Cold War intelligence operations. That was all part of this as well, Bob.
All right, John Glasgow, thank you very much. I've talked to Larry Sabato about this issue. He is just so into it, and we've discussed. I remember going back, I've watched old video of the original reporting, and they got the name, I think, of Jack Ruby wrong when Oswald was shot at the very beginning, but it was just watching all this unfold was really fascinating.
Right, incredible. And joining us now to discuss, former CIA operative and CEO chairman of Portman Square Group, that would be Mike Baker. Mike, great to have you with us here. So what do you make of the latest information from the Sabato Center?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think Larry's right on a couple of points when he says what's the reason for, why hold on to these and keep them classified for so long. And I think he's also right that the idea is, just keep them until everybody who was, of age during that period of time is dead. But look, conspiracy theorists, I think, will be disappointed that, in terms of what's in there. But I think people who are fascinated with the history, and certainly people who are or have spent time in espionage and counterespionage, Cold War history, are going to find the documents fascinating because it does talk about and does reveal, U.S. government activities in relation to the Cold War. And of course, the Soviet Union at the time was the existential threat. We all thought that we were going to all perish in a war between us and the Soviet Union. It was palpable at that time. So I think, the information that's in the documents will be very interesting. I suspect that, some of this, the contact between Lee Harvey Oswald and the Soviets, look, he lived in Russia, right? He lived in the Soviet Union. He moved over there in '59. He married a Soviet woman. So his contact with the Soviet embassy in Mexico, that was known. Look, he was a very big fan of the Soviet Union and a very big fan of Castro and the revolution, and was looking for ways to demonstrate his passion and his conviction.
Yeah, and Mike, Larry talks about this. The report could be the tip of the spear when it comes to information about the JFK investigation. I don't know what more you would want to know. Me, it's always come down to, okay, was the CIA behind this? Were the Soviets behind this? And was there more than just one shooter? I think, if I recall conversations with Larry, he believes that was just Oswald shooting. I've never believed that myself. And again, it's just out there. These are the kinds of things people would like to know more concretely if everything got out there.
Yeah, no, look, I find the whole situation, obviously, like so many other people do, fascinating. It remains one of the great conspiracy theories of our time, along with Martin Luther King. As an aside, I will say I think there's more to the concern over the Martin Luther King assassination than with the Kennedy assassination. I spent time for a television series looking deep into the Kennedy assassination, and while you can never say never, and comparing that with the King assassination, I think there are unanswered questions with Martin Luther King that deserve to be really examined in a very, very, very serious manner. But I understand the fascination with it. I understand the fact that the conspiracy will never die when it comes to the Kennedy killing.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Baker, always great having you with us. Thank you.